you. Thank you. All right, so we are live. Let me make sure I'm showing up on my screen here. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we are live. Oops. Come on. All right, we're almost there.
No worries.
Sharing this out. Hey guys, we're going to get started in just a moment. Okay. Okay. Let's take this on. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us for my. Let me first say this. You probably don't know this, John, but this is my very first episode of my new talk show called The LaunchPad. It was formerly known as the Success Talk Candidate. We changed the name because I really want to get you guys out there launching your best work and totally dominating your sales online. So, John, you're like my first guest on my new talk show. So thank you so much for hopping on. And guys, give a huge, my ladies are hopping on here. I was just telling John, every time I get a man on a panel, y'all just come flooding on every freaking time. I love it. I love it. We need more men on here. All right. Hey, Alita. Hey, Linda. Hey, Shamika. Hey, Angie. Hey, Leslie. Therese. Catherine, thank you guys for hopping on. I'll give y'all a shout out and just if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. So guys, thank you so much for hopping on. If this is your very, very first time hopping on the show, my name is Letitia Campbell. I'm your sales success strategist. I help coaches and consultants dominate their sales online by teaching you how to magnetically attract customers and clients. And John is on here. John, if you could just introduce yourself in front of these lovely ladies.
Sure. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on. It's really good to be here. Great to be here with you and your peeps. And I just hope that gives some value and help demystify the world of bots, chatbots. I'll introduce myself. I'm Jon Cort. I run my own digital marketing agency. I focus on Facebook ads and on building chatbots. I also do teaching and coaching online and also corporate training offline. Luckily, well, occasionally I do get flown off for short-term contracts, like 1 to 3 months in the Middle East, corporate contracts. And they're pretty nice. That's a really good experience. And really, it helps live a varied life, seeing a very different part of the world. And I do quite a bit of travel. But yeah, that's what I do. I focus on that, on agency stuff. And building bots is the main thing I'm focusing on now. Started doing that last year. And they're really becoming popular and in demand. So it's a good place to be.
Yeah, and it's funny that we bringing this up today because, where did this all begin for you? Because why did you decide to say, I want to focus on bots? Because like before we went live, I was telling you about a little bit of my audience on how it's such a unknown and unused business tool, because it is a tool that you can use for your business to gain leads, engage with your audience, and put your business on automation, right? Because I know for me, I'm getting out of being on this laptop 24/7, even though I love what I do. I have 4 kids, want to have more time for them and what have you. But you're jumping into like industry, or you have been in an industry where people's awareness level of it is very low, right?
Yeah.
So where did that all start for you and why?
Right. Well, it all started with the agency, really. Long story short, I'll just put it in context. I kind of went digital because I wanted really badly to learn how to do digital work, tech work off the cloud. And the cloud was being developed back in 2005. Had friends working on cloud concepts, having whole platforms actually in the cloud, as it were, accessible all over the world. And all the actual processing was basically on its own, set aside. Not on land-based, not on separate servers, but actually all the saves and everything that you have take place, say for example, when you're using Word, actually happen inside the cloud automatically. And that's what the Chatbot platforms offer. They do the same thing where everything's on the cloud. You could have your laptop stolen and just buy a new one and plug it to the cloud, say if you've got backup there, and basically download everything onto your new computer. And you'd still have all your chatbots and everything in place. And if you had all your systems on the cloud, then you can move all over the world, not be worried about theft, being mugged for your laptop and that type of thing, or your cell phone, and just replace it and then connect again. So I really wanted to do that, and I really wanted to travel really badly. Now, I think some of your viewers, some of your followers, your peeps may relate here. They may be stuck in 9-to-5 jobs. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Big
right.
time.
Well, I was there too, and it was miserable. It was miserable. Mine goes back. I left a long time ago. It goes way back to 2006, when it just became too much. Too much. It was really long hours, a lot of stress, lots of unpaid overtime. I was basically an urban design architect in a large company of architects, 100 strong architects in London, and they really pushed the teams to do long hours without any pay. So we've been doing like anything from 1 to 5 hours a night, sometimes all the early hours, and it just got too much because the work-life balance was all wrong. It was the wrong way around. You live with work or working to you've got to have balance in life, right? And these long hours are just way too stressful. And my private life suffered big time, and it was a contributor to the divorce. So I went through a very painful divorce, and it took a long time to get over it. So that was partly one of the reasons why I really wanted to start again. So I really wanted to escape the corporate life. It took me a long time to do it. And to help me, I did NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to help remove the barriers that were in my own way. To help me being in my own way myself. And to clear any cobwebs I had about, having faith in a new life where I could challenge myself to live off the cloud and be a nomad, I guess. So long story short, I managed to do it and got organized, and I launched and I started traveling. And then I taught myself apps because that was a hot new thing. Just before I left London in 2007, right, I went off on world travels to travel all over the world, see as many countries as I could. And I'm still traveling. I haven't stopped that. So that's been like 12 years on my world travels, sort of Gulliver's Travels style adventures. That's what I had in my head, right? And so, the idea of Jason and the Argonauts, that kind of thing, heroic travel, working off the internet. That was my objective. So I used, apps, because I just bought the iPhone in 2007. It came out, right? That's when I left. I got the iPhone, went traveling with it. And I thought, blimey, this thing is just what I've been looking for and wanting so badly for years. And they made it. I bought the Sony Vow, I can't remember what it's called, but they did it kind of like a precursor to the iPhone, but it was so limited in what it could do. I was so disappointed.
I remember that.
It was like, oh, so basic. It was a waste of money.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
When the iPhone came out, whoa, this is it at last.
I remember in New York City, people were literally sleeping outside of the Apple store.
Whoa, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's such a momentous time in history, isn't it? It's a game changer completely.
Definitely.
So, you know, that really helped me. So I got into apps and I basically started my agency officially in 2012. I taught myself apps, become an apps developer, and for the iPhone, iOS 10. I expanded to Android later, but I produced over 100 mobile apps while I was traveling on the cloud. And added Facebook advertising to that because I needed to sell those apps, bring them to market, right? Get people about them. You've got to reach people. They're never going to know what you're producing otherwise, right? Facebook, fantastic for reaching people, as you know. Yes, and then added e-com to that. So I ran stores as well, and a large general store and smaller stores. But the thing is, bots came out, and again, it's another game changer. Do you realize that what's happening now is that we got really excited about apps, it peaked, and then it kind of simmered out. And now the new studies are showing that we keep re-downloading the same 7 to 9 apps that are most used on our phone. And people are using less and less half the other ones they downloaded and forgot about, which is sitting at the back that they never go to, they never swipe to, right?
That's true.
And I found myself in that situation. And I've, you know, obviously realized with chatbots, which I began to explore and research, that they were beginning to take over from apps. And it's expected that in the future, almost half of all apps, whether they're mobile phone apps or whether they're web-based apps, like applications on the internet, over half will be replaced by chatbots. So that's why I'm talking about this today, right? So I went traveling, and I wanted to be able to, you know, to work off the internet and live in countries, but the problem is you have a visa limitation, right? So sometimes you can only stay in a country for a month on a visa, right? And so I figured that if I learned to teach, I could get working visas. So I did a teacher training course and became, both my parents are teachers, so I was really into that idea. You know, my dad's a university professor and stuff. And so I used that visa to basically work in different countries, to home base there, work part-time teaching, and the rest of the time work on the apps and you know, carry on traveling. And you know, out of the places I've been to, I must say Bali, where Rhonda is one of the best places I ever lived. Our home base there back in 2010. Absolutely amazing, right?
I've been there twice. It is beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely good. I'm gonna have to go back at some point. I went there for a business mastermind, and I was like with like film producers, directors, you know, business people from LA, and they all left after a week, and I just loved it so much I stayed on. I couldn't leave. So I lived there for a bit, but I will go back, you know, dying to get back and hang out with the unstoppable family. But yes, so back to chatbots. The writings on the wall, I began to realize that chatbots are the new apps, basically. And I've got to get into it. It's natural if I've already done programming for, you know, apps to do it for chatbots. So that's why I got into it last year. And a lot of these predictions are coming true, and a lot of companies are getting behind it and into it. And there's a lot of AI development going on inside chatbots. But the type of chatbots I'm going to talk about today are much simpler, and they're easy to get into, and they're much easier to understand and to learn. And my job today is to help demystify it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how you mentioned this whole thing about how it's innovating. How I remember, I would say roughly about 3-4 years ago, that's when I first started to hear about chatbots and and people were not really using it as much. I mean, honestly, I was told that you didn't need it. You know what I mean? So people still feel that way. I mean, I don't feel that way anymore now. You know, we all have to learn this and leverage it. People assume that it's hard, but at the end of the day, if you're at a job, you know, like I just mentioned that most of my audience does have a 9-to-5. Just imagine your boss comes in and he said, hey, you gotta learn this new system. You're gonna automatically not think about the fear barrier of how hard it is. You're just gonna get it done. So with that said, with everyone right now who is heard about chatbots and is feeling like, well, why do I need it? So that brings me to the next question I have for you is, why does somebody like a coach or a real estate person, you know, let's just start with that. Why do people need chatbots?
Right. Why do we need these chatbots? Okay, so Things are changing. I don't know how much your peeps have been keeping abreast of the news, but there's some big changes ahead in terms of Facebook. And Facebook's significant, obviously, because it's the largest social media platform out there, much bigger than the others. It's way ahead. 2.3 billion on Facebook alone, 2.7 across its ecosystem. And for those who don't realize, Instagram and WhatsApp are owned by Facebook, right?
Yes, they are.
So they're making it pretty official that they connect it all together. They're going to connect it all together. So this is why we need chatbots, right? Facebook just announced it's restructuring its entire ecosystem, right? WhatsApp, Instagram, Messenger, Facebook, all around Messenger, right? Focus is going to be Messenger. Messenger is going to be the superhighway connecting all of its social media platforms together. This means Messenger is where it's going to be at. Messenger will be the holy grail. It's not now. People go, I don't believe this, because that's now. But in the future.
Can I stop you now for 1 second? I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this because when you look at WhatsApp, I traveled overseas last year about 2-3 times, right? And nobody has like a cell phone account. Like out here in the States, you got Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, right? Those of you who are watching, tell us which service you have. And either Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile. But if you really look at outside the world, especially those of you who are watching want to get international, you got to really get into the WhatsApp because that's what people are using. My husband, his family is overseas, and they only communicate through WhatsApp.
Right.
Like this is crazy. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think in the short run, it's good to get into WhatsApp because it's going to be a destination that's connected with Messenger. But get into Messenger as well if you're not into it in a big way. And later, you won't have to just get into WhatsApp if you are into Messenger in a big way, because Facebook are going to put so much focus. They're going to bring the kind of what they've learned from WhatsApp, and why it's so popular, to Messenger. They want to make Messenger the big bad boy on the block. So end-to-end encryption is one of the reasons. It's the major reason why WhatsApp is so popular, because they insisted on keeping it as private as possible. And so Zuckerberg's announced that he's going to bring that end-to-end encryption. It's in the process of doing it. It'll take a while to do it properly to Messenger, and basically connect all those platforms and assets, as it were, together with Messenger. So Messenger and WhatsApp, get into them both now if you're not. It's really important if you want to steal the advantage from your competition to start getting and placing yourself in front of the audience, your people that you'll be selling to as soon as possible. Making those changes now while the competition is still sleeping. So Messenger.
While the competition's still sleeping. That's right. I like to write things down. That is hot. Y'all hear this? Y'all better pick up what he's putting down, y'all. Like, we've been saying this for a while, really start to really be more imaginative with how you can reach your audience and what platforms you need to use, like bots, WhatsApp, ads, things like that. You do specialize in ads, and it's something that I know my audience is barely using ads at all, because there's a lack of understanding. And also, again, just like chatbots, a lack of need, because nowadays people believe, well, if I go live all the time, which is true. If you do go live, obviously you're going to, get that organic reach. But what about the back end stuff, right? Your target. So if you could just talk a little bit about, the Facebook ads aspect of why do we also need to leverage that as well? And how does that connect to chatbots?
Well, definitely. They're making it easier to connect the two. I mean, everybody knows that the power of reaching people is through social media marketing at a very, very affordable rate. Anybody who's complaining about Facebook ads, really, they should see what it costs, the rest of the world in advertising, magazines, TV. It really is, it's chips, peanuts, really. Yeah. And what Facebook are doing now, they're making it much easier to connect Facebook ads with chatbots. And so they're coming out with a whole range of tools. And one of those is lead gen templates that are basically like mini chatbots that Facebook make themselves. They're native, they're inside their own platform, and they're inside the actual ad manager in Facebook ads. And they've just brought them out, and they'll be offering them so that, even people who haven't got great experience in creating ads or chatbots can basically have a messenger style format, like a mini chatbot given to them by Facebook. The great thing about chatbots is that it is, it's seamless. That means there's no friction. so that when you have your ad showing, you'll have a button that basically the user clicks when they actually want to purchase or explore further.
Yeah.
That opens the chatbot immediately. Now, with traditional landing pages, there's actually a few seconds when you get basically sent out of the ad, out of Facebook environment. Say, for example, we're talking about a landing page like ClickFunnels, right? It will take up 4 seconds to 8 seconds, depending where you are in the world and what your internet speed's like, to basically get there. You have to, you're on a driving board, you dive through space, and you're hurtling towards ClickFunnels. That's where most people fall off. People don't realize this.
They do.
Funnels, right? Most people at the top, when they come into your funnel, when they first get into it, they go to the next step, and you reduce to get a smaller percentage. Right?
That's right.
Not smaller percentage. Say you start with 80%, and then the next step you're going right down to 40, and then the next step
you go down to 13, and then
one.
then you're one person
at the end, right? Click. So that's why it's called a funnel, right? But the biggest problem is actually from the ad to the opening of the funnel, right? So there's your ad. You need to get people into your funnel, and they never make it because they get bored these days with a very slow, very tiny attention rates now, right?
Yeah.
Attention span used to be 10 seconds, 8 seconds, but a lot of people's attention spans now are just down to 2 seconds, and they can't wait for the page to load up, and so they're gone.
I'm guilty of that too.
You're flipping through the feed, right? And you press and it doesn't happen soon enough. And it's like, damn, you want to watch that video below. That video, you say, oh, that looks funny. Gone. So many people, fall off before they're even at the beginning of the funnel. With bots, you don't have that because it's seamless. It happens instantly and you don't miss that. Say 60% fell off. They got bored in that 6-7 seconds. Yeah. They're already in your bot already, and you're engaging them with fun, humor, chat. And everybody's on chat normally, and that's how they communicate most of the time with friends and family. It's very personal. And all that chatbot is an automating conversation inside your chat, right? In your chat window. So it looks just like anybody, like your friend is chatting to you, except it's your friendly robot. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's just go back a little bit to advertising in general. On my background, you see New York City and how just to get a billboard in Times Square is millions of dollars, just to get your face up and your brand up. And then again, you're also competing with all those other billboards. So it's like the shiniest one is the one that stands out. And then you look at how, I just had a conversation with a lady this morning who wanted me to be in her magazine to even get published. It costs like $7,000. It's not cheap to get on other people's platforms and also do ads and do marketing. But the thing is, with the Facebook ads, it's so cheap. It's so cheap to even place one. You could do one for $5 a day, what have you. But the thing is that a lot of people are even scared to spend that little bit of money because of the lack of knowledge on how to use it. And we're going to help you guys out.
Please don't use Boost Post. Don't use Boost Post. It's just a cash machine for Facebook. That's all it is. Why do you think they're so rich? People are using Boost Post.
That's true.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. But I know when you guys who are watching, y'all here don't boost. But then when y'all get into the ad manager, you're like, what buttons do I press? It's like, it gets overwhelming, right?
Your peeps should know this. If you don't know yourself, definitely, this is more news that's come through. Don't worry, I've been collecting all the news. If you feel that you've got lots of gaps in your knowledge about news, just check out my profile page, my personal profile, Jon Cort. I basically, any news that comes out, I grab it. Me and my team.
I saw that. Yeah, I absolutely saw that.
You can go through the history and you can fill in all gaps very quickly because I do it in very short headline type news, right? That headline over newspaper. If you want to read more, check out the comments, right? It's up to you. But the headlines are there. You can catch up what's been happening. But this is really important. This is a game changer for businesses that can't afford to get into Facebook ads in a big way yet, or are blown away by how complicated it is. Facebook are now bringing out their AI robots that are built into the platform to actually do and run the campaigns for you. Automatic ad campaigns. They'll run the whole thing for you. Now, the catch is that they get their information, they scrape it from your business page. So you'd have to go to your business page and make sure that you fill in all the questionnaires, all the forms with as much accurate data as possible to inform their AI. Now, I should be telling people about this as an agency owner because it's our job to do the ads for our clients, right?
Exactly. Yep.
I want anybody who's interested or anybody who's following me to know the truth, right? I want to be straight up, no fluff, no BS here. I'll tell you what's happening, right? You know? Basically, a lot of my agency people say, I'm not going to be telling my clients that. I'm going to keep that one quiet. Hey,
yeah, they don't want to tell it. Yeah.
Get into, now they're offering to do it all automated for you. And it's a really good way to learn how to do it. Now, I'm not saying that their new system automated is the solution 100%, because it will never be as good as having an agency team who are really well versed and have a really big history, knowledge, and experience in delivering and targeting, right? So it'll never be as good as having a team that really know their stuff, but it's a good way to start to learn in a simple way, because it used to be too mind-boggling for newbies to go into the ads manager platform, business manager, even more complex, power manager, it's all just too much and too overwhelming. But now Facebook take you by the hand with their AI. And so it's much better to use this new tool than Boost Post. From our point of view, agency, it's the same category as Boost Post, but it's more advanced and it's the next step on, right? You'll still need an ads manager, a real human team, or like a Facebook person, if you want to optimize and get the best bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
But it's a really good midway ground, and it's a really good way to start off and learn.
That's right. And last thing we want to jump in. I mean, these ladies on here, they're loving it. They're actually telling you, admitting. I think you guys are being honest in the chat on how they've definitely boosted posts, many times, and they haven't gotten the results. So stay away from that. That's like a Vegas, Atlantic City slot machine, basically. So thank you so much for confirming that. So the last thing we want to discuss today is the challenge, and how you're like a huge part of it, in a sense of not only sharing your expertise, but also giving us our clients who are in the challenge to take the actual resources they need to dominate. So if you could just explain some of the things that you're going to go over in the challenge. Yeah.
Sure. Well, there are so many uses to chatbots, because they can be built and created to whatever your needs are, basically, whether you're a coach or you're just creating online products, for example, or even a local business person, right? You can configure them to do all sorts of things. For example, you can have a mini website. You can have whatever's on your website inside a chatbot, and you can convert higher with chatbots because they're interactive. They don't leave people behind. They come back to people who may get interrupted. Say life gets in the way, your kids come in while you're in the middle of purchasing, and then you forget. You will never go back to that landing page again. You may forget and remember again like months later. But with the chatbot, you'll get the bot coming back, the robot. Hi, I see you forgot your order, or blah blah blah. Or there's a fun conversation, and you can keep sending those reminders out on auto. It's all set up. You didn't have to do any work. They'll be basically doing all this in your sleep, right? While you're sleeping, they'll be working for you, and you won't have just one bot. A bot can fire off many conversations, thousands at the same time. So it's like having an army of bots working to promote your brand, your product, increase your ROI, get your aims and your goals, get you to your targets quicker, right? It's fantastic for business. And so the other types of bots that you can have, a lead gen, like the one I talked about, which is attached to an ad, is the best way to get people into a bot is through Facebook ads, and do it seamlessly. Messenger is inside Facebook, you see, so we have that seamless, frictionless environment. And the other way to do it is, if you think about people falling off inside your sales process, like inside a ClickFunnel, Russell Brunson's always talking about the funnel being like in a shop, for example, where you meet somebody at the door, the sales assistant, and walks them through and takes them to the products they want. They fill their arms with the product and get to the till, right? So that's like a ClickFunnels funnel. Bots are like that too, but anybody who falls off at any point gets picked up again, and there's a fun conversation with it all the way. And basically, when people do fall off and it goes cold, they come back and pick them up, like a week later, a day later, and that can be like a nurturing funnel. So this is the other type of funnel. The nurturing funnel can get cold traffic as well, or slightly warm traffic, and completely change their mind and convince them slowly. So it's like a slow sell. They can begin to tell your brand story, for example. show, videos, that explain more about what you're about or why you came to do what you do. So they get to know, like, and trust you. It's a really important part of marketing and sales, right? Know, like, and trust. So
that's right.
It's very powerful to make sure that nobody gets left behind and you max out and optimize, right? So
that's
you
true.
can do business with them. You can create these different types of funnels. You can basically grow an existing business as well. Boost your business by adding chatbots, or launch one from scratch. So for the challenge, I wanted to basically do something that's completely in keeping with the challenge and what it's all about. And so we've got a short amount of time to sort of learn certain information, just the salient information, the most important stuff, to get you to your goals as quickly as possible. So it's like a steep runway, right? And it's a framework for people to take off with a new business or to boost an existing one, right? And the way we can add chatbots to that, the way I thought the best way to do that was to deliver something that could be actionable immediately to get results, and use chatbots straight out the gate. So the quickest way to do that was for me to be able to create a chatbot template, which I'll be giving to all the contenders, all the actual participants beforehand. They'll receive their
awesome.
I'll give them complete instructions up front beforehand how to open their accounts with the chatbot. The chatbots that I use are ManyChat, because they are the simplest way to start using chatbots, and it's one of the most popular. It's become the most popular chatbot out there, and it's actually got the highest ROI because of that. It's most accessible, right? You don't have to be a developer to operate it yourself. A lot of people can follow, say, the ManyChat program and the training courses that are out there, and learn how to implement chatbots. From people like myself, for example, who train people up in chatbots, and find it easier than anything else. With my courses, I try to take it from the perspective that, if you can use PowerPoint, if you can use Word, you don't have to be a tech head or a geek, right? Then you should be able to follow along and pick up how to use chatbots, messenger chatbots, messenger marketing, conversational marketing, all the same thing, right? Different words you'll hear out there for the same thing. I'll be able to teach you in the most basic way, right? And I won't be using technical language, right? If you see 3 bars, right, I'll be saying hamburger, right? Press the hamburger button. I mean, maybe that's what I'll be doing in the training. I'll be talking like that in the training, right? Very simple. I want to demystify it, and I'll provide the bot, and it will come with, it will be a working bot. So it will all be populated with, sort of somebody else's marketing campaign inside there, which makes it really easy then to switch out your own, because you can see the information, you can see the pictures, and you just switch out like for like the equivalent inside your existing campaigns or what you'd like to show. And, you just basically look at what's there. It's a guide, and you just put your own in. It's the quickest way to learn is with an existing template. So you'll get the template up front. You'll get instructions up front how to open your ManyChat account, which is free. Later on, they charge you per subscriber count. So X number of subscribers you get, you'll get a charge, but you get charges with an autoresponder, right? So it's a similar type of concept, because bots are actually more powerful than emails. Bots get 95% open rates. Emails only 20% open rates these days. 20%
lower than that. Yeah.
Sometimes 99%, 100% open rates for chatbots, right? And click-through rates for chatbots are 55%. With emails, 20%, no, less. 4% for click-throughs, 2% even, right? So chatbots in the future will be taking over from email. Email will never go away, so it'll always have its place, right? So it's good to have both. Email you own as well, 100%. You'll own your own ManyChat account, but remember, it's all happening inside Facebook, all right? So whatever you put inside Facebook, it's always good to have it duplicated elsewhere, like on your website or in email campaigns, always backed up on the cloud, right? Because there is a certain, question mark with Facebook, and in the long run. But in the short run, it's the best place to be. And with Messenger over the next 5 years, it's the place to, get the most ROI in your business and be.
You're so right.
So that's it. My course is going to be very simple. It's a maximum of say 50 minutes of training, and it's basically going to show you how to take your chatbot that I've already given you, switch out the information, connect it up, right, ready for launch, and then press the button to launch it, make it active.
That's right.
Simple as that. But it will give you so much power to, boost your business or to launch from, and so much more ROI by using chatbots than just email alone.
That's true. And I want everyone who's watching to really leverage and understand what you're missing out on by not getting inside this challenge. Again, with the open rate for Messenger, 95%, emails, 23 or less. Sometimes even I get probably about 13% open rate, and they don't click on anything. It's like people take action in Messenger. People take action and all that. And guys, even with the follow-up that you get from leveraging Chatbox, 75% of my revenue comes from follow-up, hands down. Like I can do a banging masterclass, a banging webinar, but if I'm not having a follow-up system on the back end of that, because here's the thing, people's attention span, just like Jon said, is very short. So I literally have 48 hours to capture and get my audience to pay. Right? If I don't have that back end machine, we call it, which is the bots, is what's going to give it to you. I'm going to be adding that as well, going all in. You got to go all in on this. It's not something you're like, okay, I want to try it out and see it. Hello, he's not only going to walk you through it, he's going to give you the template, right?
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
$1,000. Like how much you would charge somebody, like just off the record, who reached out to you and said, hey, can I get your template?
Well, the commercial rates out there, what other agencies and other bot guys are charging people is $1,000 to say $1,500, $1,500 per chatbot to build a chatbot for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it pays for itself. Almost, if they're done well, if you get the right bot builder, right, they always pay for themselves. All right. I mean, obviously, you have to have a viable product. It has to be a product that's in demand. For example, if you were to take, this is the way to look at it. If you were to take a working product already that's doing really well on static funnels, right, and put it on a dynamic funnel, the dynamic funnel being the chatbot because it's interactive and it's alive, right, and it's always coming back to collect people that fall off.
Ooh, you are preaching now.
It's going to make more money than an existing successful campaign. So a lot of people are rushing their campaigns that are successful off of existing funnels, right, like lead pages, etc., and getting them onto bots, or they do both and test it. Then they see that, it's a no-brainer when they see the results, because it's like having a real person working for you all the time while you're sleeping 24/7. And there's so many different ways I haven't even touched on that bots are really successful. So there's just way too much to cover in this particular live, right? In this watch party. So trust me, it's a no-brainer, right? This template is free as a bonus for the 30-day challenge, right? Wow. So you won't have to pay anything for it. If you get in now for an amazingly insane price, right? Under $100, right? How crazy is that, right?
That's insane.
You'll get this template for free. And, my price is, I don't charge the full whack generally. I try to give best value. So I charge around $500 to $750 for my chatbots, right? That kind of price. But the commercial rate is around $1,000. So this template is worth about $1,000, right? Because
absolutely.
It's not a really sophisticated chatbot. So I don't want to blow anybody's mind and overwhelm them, but it's enough to be able to do the job of getting the money in quick. And it's enough for a powerful introduction to chatbots. But I do it by taking all the pain away for you because I've built it already, right? All you have to do is switch out and repopulate the content with your own sales material. And then I show you how to connect it and I show you how to launch it. Boom. Bada boom, bada boom.
And guys, live streaming, I was just telling Jon before we logged on here, is that live streaming is great, but it's not enough. You can't just say, well, I'm going to go live 4 or 5 times a day, capture my audience and make my offers. You want to have that moment where you're building a business, where you have all this back end stuff that's going to help you along the way. So that way you can enjoy life and get in front of the right people. Now, when you're implementing the chat bots, it's just like what Rhonda mentioned the other day when you was on her show about, is that attention. You got to grab people's attention. And people are playing around in Messenger. People are playing around. They're that's where they communicate. I know when I wake up, I don't check my email, I check my Messenger first.
Right.
Like that's what I do. It's just a habit that I just
more like that in the future.
Yeah,
if you think about Messenger being the highway, and Facebook are going to make it more important than WhatsApp, and WhatsApp's very popular once it's got encrypted and everything, right? You know, you basically when you sell your products, right? Traditionally, before the internet and all that, people had to go to the marketplace, town squares and villages, right, the centers, and sell their wares, put their stall out. Right now, we're using stories and stuff to get people's attentions. Footfall past the shop front at the marketplace, around the fringes of the space, for example, the shops. How do they get people's attention when everybody's like buying fruit from the stalls in the middle, right? They put their A-frame boards out in the street where people.
Yes, they do. You're right about that.
And that's stories, right? That's what the stories are all about. They're the A-frame boards in the footfall, in the footway, and that's what Rhonda and the Unstoppable family do so well, right? Stories every day, video clips and stuff, GIFs, fun, interactive, short, to the point. You can ramp loads of them up together, make, you know, cut a video into, like you do really well as well, you know?
Yeah.
You can get, you know, people into your system that way. Of course, lives are great for grabbing attention. That's what we're talking about. But you have to have the back end start. The back end has to be there to convert them, right? You can't take likes to the bank, right?
Can you say that again? Because I've been telling that for years. Because likes don't pay my bills. You know, go ahead.
You can't take likes to the bank. It ain't gonna happen. You get the eyeballs, but then you've got to convert them. Now, you know, the static landing page is the good way to do it right now, and it has been. But if you really want to go places and you want to get there before your competition does, get your chatbots working. And the way people are doing it wrong so far is this. Those people who got into bots, they just grab it because they want to check it off the marketing list and go, I've got a bot. Yeah, I'm with it. That's it. And then they leave it. What are they doing wrong? They're not using it properly. They've just got it. They've dumped it on their website or on their business page, and they just leave it there as a welcoming bot. Hi. Now, what bots can do is they will take people, you know, into their sequence. And as soon as they're in, check this out for magic, they get your email, right?
I mean, so that's what Russell Brunson. Yeah, I mean, Russell Brunson does that. Like, I'm in his bot now, and I feel like I'm having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's not him. I'm fully aware it's a bot. Yeah. But it's that conversation, and then he goes into the offer or a masterclass registration. And it's like, wow, that's such an automation right there. Like, that's killer.
So you can use your bot to build your existing email list building. And you can use bots to segment just the way you can in an autoresponder. And bots are built, like many chat platform, is built around an autoresponder concept, but it does so much more. You know, it's alive on top of you. So you can segment with something called tags, right? Mm-hmm. So you can basically, you know, put people into different buckets and market them in different ways inside a bot in a much more sophisticated way than you can in an email autoresponder. So, you know, more brownie points there. And there's a few, but we just haven't got time to cover them. But check this out. If you just buy your bot and leave it on your landing page or leave it on your website, it's like having a Bentley, brand new expensive car in your...
Oh, my God.
And not using it. Just sticking it on your front yard, on your lawn, or whatever, and just using it as a, you know, a sculpture to look at and say, how beautiful. You know, you're not taking it out there to drive. You're not taking it for a grand tour of Italy. You're not, you know, using it to get your ROI in, right? And bots are to be used and expanded and built upon. And the best campaigns with chatbots are those that are developed, you know, one campaign after the other on a monthly basis, because the actual dashboards that do all the actual monitoring of the data, the data is very intelligent with the chatbot. They'll know exactly who clicked where and what percentages, etc. So you can analyze which part of your funnel or your chatbot is the weakest and needs beefing up, and which ones are doing really well. And if you get the right type of manager for your chatbot, you know, the right type of bot guy, he knows how to read the data, and he'll then change the chatbot and redesign it with the next iteration of it or future chatbots based on information. So it's an intelligent process. It comes back with a feedback loop, right? So each month, for example, there's a feedback loop for the next month's iteration. So you're hitting it out the park again, based on what you learn about your new customers, their profiles, the avatar, you know, the details around how they're buying or where they're falling off, the hot spots, the cool spots, etc. All of that can be used to make the bot more intelligent for you effectively.
Wow.
So I've covered a lot of stuff that is kind of detailed. What I'll be doing in the challenge is basically just getting to the actual goal of a working bot as quickly as possible with as little technical talk as possible, right? So it's all about achieving and getting your goals and getting a bot that's working and getting you money with as little stress as possible, as little time spent in it as possible. I would have done most of that.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, everyone's going to definitely get their money worth. It's really about those of you who are watching is you taking that action so that way you can start to get these systems done. Because most of y'all have the strategy, you know, or even before you get your strategy locked down, you still need your systems to work in your favor because you can't do everything by yourself. I made that mistake in my business for years, doing everything manual, right? So, I mean, we go over so much more in the challenge, you know. Jon coming in is just, I mean, he's such a phenomenal person. You know, I've known him we just got to really know each other the past few weeks, but just actually experiencing you, watching what you do, seeing how you're helping so many people all across the world, just build their best businesses so they can build their best lives. And that's what we do. Thank you, ladies, for the hearts. They loving you over here, by the way, Jon. Okay, you might get a whole bunch of members in the next 24 hours. Just want to let you know. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for hopping on. And again, you know, join our challenge. You know, the information is right there on the screen. There is a deadline because we know how some of y'all love to drag your feet. Okay, y'all know your coach knows y'all. Okay, y'all have to do the second to get inside because we're going to completely close the doors. And the next time we're going to be launching this is going to be worth well over $99. We charging it this low because we want to prove a point. We want to prove the point that whatever that you are, idea, concept, vision you have, you can actually bring it into fruition and make it possible. Nobody's holding you back but yourself. You have a whole bunch of a team of people who are here to help you get to the destination that you want to get. Your first step is to get inside the challenge. All right. So Jon, I want to thank you so much for joining me on my first season 1 of my the LaunchPad Talk Show. I'm going to be back on next week on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. But here's the thing. I want to come back Monday. By then, the deadline is going to be over. We're going to be kicking off our challenge with our new clients and going from there. Okay? So as always, guys, make sure you get out there and dominate. It's truly the time to design the life that you deserve. Thank you, Jon, so much for hopping on. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.